So, what is social selling? I wasn't the first person to jump on the bandwagon and try this out, but social selling is actually super powerful. I've been doing a lot lately. I probably am guilty of not going through my LinkedIn feed as much as I post. So, that's something that I've been trying to get in a habit of. Like, if you want to actually have engagement as a content creator on LinkedIn, you actually have to go out there and spend time engaging with other people's content. So I've been trying to build that muscle. I've been on LinkedIn since the early days. I was an early adopter, but I spent way less time in the feed as I did inside of searches, running criteria of who my ICPs are as a business leader and a seller, and trying to figure out people to either connect to, send in mails, basically do quiet social in the DMs, trying to get meetings or build relationships or get calls. So, what is social selling? Social selling is basically not really selling, but being out there public in the feed and starting to build relationships digitally with the people who already follow you. If you go to your feed, you can, by one stretch of the imagination, just connect with people who you know are actually active on LinkedIn. So, how many people have you looked at their account and they have a LinkedIn presence, but they're still treating it as a digital resume rather than a personal brand? They're actually using their LinkedIn to just put their most recent job status out there in case recruiters are looking for them. Maybe once in a while they post important PR from their company or major milestones, but they don't post frequently. They don't comment. And their last activity was from, 4 weeks ago or 6 months ago. What the LinkedIn feed gives you is basically a real-time feed of all of the people within your network that have posted within recent time. So some of them are as recent as moments ago, and others are maybe, as old as a week, but most of the things that are in feed are pretty current. So if you're a business development person or a seller, if you're going through the feed, you're automatically qualifying the people who are actually active on LinkedIn. They probably check their notifications. So when you comment on their post with thoughtful answers, they will generally see those pop up in their notifications. And as they start to see your name attached to thoughtful thought leadership or commentary or even funny back and forth and banter, when you slide into the DMs or other communication styles, you've warmed up your personal brand to that person. And now they have a sense of familiarity with you. They feel like maybe they know you from the real world. Maybe you guys connected, but now you have a way to stay in touch digitally if you can't get in front of that person in the real world as much as we used to pre-COVID. So I actually also use going through the feed as idea starters for content. I mean, quite frankly, flattery is the best form, or theft is the best form of flattery, right? Like, I would never cut and paste something that people are using, but if you go through the feed, you can see structures of how people structure their LinkedIn posts. It's one of the things that I learned where you're not really supposed to put links in LinkedIn posts if you want that to get throttled by the algorithm. It's better to post video or images and standalone content and then put any links as the first comment. But you also see how people use emojis, you see topics that are trending, you see news stories. So for me, a lot of times I'll just go through the feed really with my goal of just trying to figure out what am I going to write about for my LinkedIn post at 9 a.m. every single day, because I try and be diligent and post every single day and be on personal brand and have a time and a cadence. So sometimes I'm just, out of ideas. I don't have any content in the pipeline. I haven't, jotted down any interesting notes, and I'll just go to the feed and see if I can find inspiration there. But while you're going through the feed, you should always be unfollowing people that are no longer relevant, or if they're putting out information that isn't interesting or they're not your ICP anymore. So you're tightening up your feed and making sure that it's full of high value ICPs. But you can also start to glean ideas for content that you might want to put out yourself. So I think that's a great thing to get in the habit of. And another great thing about social selling is it really LinkedIn warms your network, right? So as you're going through and making comments and getting your personal brand out there on top of other people's posts that are sometimes more highly trafficked than your own, you're essentially putting your personal brand at the top of the comment threads for at least a little while, until the next person comes in. So you're warming your personal brand and your persona to your larger LinkedIn networks, for then when you reach out, they're more familiar with you. Um, and the last thing that I would say is, you can truly authentically build relationships on LinkedIn in the comments through social selling. I used to think that you really can't build relationships anywhere except in the real world. Zoom calls are not for relationship building. They are for transfer of information, which is great, but you're not going to make real friends on Zoom. And what I found through LinkedIn, though, in comments is the back and forth. Yes, it's professional. Yes, it's thought leadership. But the more you do it, the more the language can become more playful, more friendly, maybe a little bit of gentle ribbing if somebody says something that's funny. I've kicked off a lot of conversations through humor with people on LinkedIn by just trying to be more the way that I would speak in a personal context or in a room with friends versus, being very button up and super professional about how I communicate in the comments. So what I found is I'll start to build rapport with people through commenting back and forth. And then when I see them in the real world, it feels like I already know them. So how do you operationalize this? I mean, for me, I have to go through my LinkedIn feed to find ideas. I have to go through my LinkedIn feed to defollow or disconnect with people who are no longer relevant because I'm up to 30,000 connections. So I'm constantly thinning my network to make room for new people at the top of the funnel. So, how much time to spend on this is really up to you. But I would get in a cadence or a habit of at least spending a little bit of time every single day. Start small, 5 minutes, then move it up to 10, 20. There are days that I spend the entire day in feed because I have so many connections and I follow so many people. I could literally be in the feed for an entire day and not see everybody's content that should pop up in feed, always seeing fresh posts. And that's a little overwhelming, but each of those comments are an interaction and a touch point with potential prospects and people in my ICP and in my network. And I find when I spend a long period of time in the feed and in comments and engaging on posts, all of a sudden I see lots of hits to my content. So it cross pollinates, it gets people to check out your page, it gets people to go to your content. So algorithmically, the more you're engaging with others, the more people will come back and engage with you. So hope that was helpful. I was going through the idea archive this morning to just think about something to talk about before I head off to Los Angeles for the day for a bunch of meetings and my first night emceeing the Thursday night innovation dinner. So keep an eye on the feed tonight and tomorrow for content from that event. And I hope you guys have an amazing day and we'll chat again soon. Okay. Thanks so much.